Here we go again. I get going and I can't stop. But I thought I would show you my shirt here. You'll recognize this, I'm sure, from Infowars, right? Mullen Lobby, come and take it from Infowars. This is what I was wearing today. I got a few looks while I was out and about. Not all of them were the type you'd want. So I want to apologize so much for that earlier YouTube that I did today. I shouldn't have used my Bluetooth as an experiment at that point. I should have done a little bit more because I did put out a lot of information. I just hope that you were able to decipher it with all of the background noise and the low volume. I do apologize for that. But I'm going to make a promise, and the promise is this. With what I'm going to present here to you in just a few minutes, I'll have an expanded version of it either tomorrow or Friday, and I'll record it. So I'll be, you know, in my jacket and my tie in front of the map probably. And I'm going to give you a better rundown on what I'm going to show you right now, what it means, okay? But I had to put it up tonight because when good news breaks, when somebody finally figures something out, I think it's a great thing that I should pass on. So what I'll do is when I record that next video, I'll cover this information, plus I'll go over some, again, of what I covered today and that just gosh awful sounding live stream. Okay, so anyway, I hope you were able to get the gist of that. Okay, let's move over. Let me tell you what we're doing. I am Roy Potter of Roy Potter QA here on YouTube. And I'm also on Twitter at Royston, capital R-O-Y-S-T-O-N, capital P-O-T-T-E-R, at Royston Potter. I'm also on Gab. I don't check it very often, but it's at capital R-O-Y, capital P, just in case you want to go and take a look at that. I'll say hi to everybody. I kept you so long today. I did a Periscope and then I did the YouTube. And the YouTube flopped because of the sound, but let me give you a little background here and I'll move on. When Trump took office and we realized that there were all of these problems, a lot of the guys in the military, vets primarily, including myself, were saying that this is we don't want a military operation in the U.S. We don't want that, but it's going to take that to take down the intelligence communities that are behind the coup, behind the political correctness that's destroying our country, behind the social justice warriors, behind Antifa, behind ISIS, behind Hillary, behind Obama, etc., okay? We knew it was too large, that it had too many years to be entrenched, and that it was a national emergency. It is a clear and present danger. It was. And a few of us, you know, we weren't talking about activating the whole military against the whole government. That wouldn't work either. But we did suggest, hi everybody, we did suggest up the line, not that they didn't already plan this. I'm not saying that we helped them to come to this decision, but it's just that we recognized that we were going forward and we were saying, tweeting these things to Trump and to Donald Trump Jr. and to Roger Stone and to Jerome Corsi, a lot of people saying, look, Craig Sawyer was doing this as well. It's pretty much, I think, the two of us as far as public pushing it. But there were probably some others underneath too, you know, that weren't making a public stink about it, but were probably tapping Trump on the shoulder. And what we said is that the military is going to have to do this. And Trump, you can activate Article 2, Section 2 of the Constitution. You can activate the militia, and it's not to fight the government. It would be to bring people, personnel in who could conduct investigations. I don't know if you all can ever remember me saying that, but that would have been back probably in the February, March time frame, somewhere in there. That was the way to do it. Of course, have the military on standby in case they start, you know, these evil forces, these anti-constitutional, treasonous forces that are in our country, decided to try to stop the restoration of the republic under the Constitution. Okay, but that's not our call. That would have been President Trump's call, of course. So anyway, giving you that background, Craig Sawyer called for directorships, which is basically the same thing, so that Trump would not have to go through Congress to have people appointed under directorships to take care of these different three-letter agencies, principally the DOJ, the FBI, the CIA, the NSA, et cetera, okay, where he was getting all this difficulty. And that was basically what I was saying too, using this Article 2, Section 2. That's not to say that Trump could not use active duty personnel. Of course he could, especially the Marines. The Marines are pretty much the president's. You know, I don't know if you all understand. I'm going to show you some things here in a minute. But basically, that would have been the way to do it. Now, when this whole thing with the MEU happened, the idea that the CIA had been taken over by the MEU, the Marine Expeditionary Unit, that would be the way to do it, obviously, as long as elements of the rest of the military didn't oppose it. You know, they're too much in bed with the CIA. You know, there's always that possibility. That's why I say look out for the shooting war that could happen. And that's exactly why Trump didn't send a huge MEU right up to the front door of the CIA. Okay, that's why he didn't do it. And I've explained how he probably worked that out, okay, using envoys, Marine Corps officers, NSA types of penetrations into the CIA, things like that. The bombing of the drug factories, laboratories in Afghanistan and elsewhere in the world for that matter. And of course, you know, going after the human traffickers and all these things, which is what the CIA is deeply involved in, okay? So Trump is attacking them. He really has been, but he wasn't going right at Langley CIA, if you understand what I'm saying. Okay, so at any rate, with all of that background, and then the Q thing came along, and as I said, there are a lot of people working on this. I could just list all, you know, they had the Las Vegas shooting, then we had the Q, and all of that's intertwined, and I'm not going to take a whole lot of time here to explain that. I think most people understand it. But the point is that these things from Q started to give us some ideas of what Trump was about. And we've talked about how it was supposed to raise our conscious level of what's going on, and also to send a message to the cabal. Okay, it would have those two reasons. And then really a third too, and that is the operators who are out there to prepared to do these things, to act against the rogue elements of the government, the anti-constitutionalists, the anti-Americans, the, you know, et cetera, that they would have preset codes for their information on when they needed to do whatever they're going to do. And I told you today, if you could hear it, that those are called authentication codes. I used the word pre-code before because I thought it might be difficult for some people to understand if they don't have a military background. But basically it's authentication, so the people in the field know that they're getting their information, their orders from the right source, not an imposter. And the same goes the other way. Okay, so with that background, Q came out, and there's been a whole lot going on there, okay? And I can't even begin to explain what's been going on in the background. You've seen the videos from all the different people that are studying this, and it's a good thing. I'm not saying it's a bad. We'll make mistakes on that. Everybody will. But at any rate, Tracy Beans in particular, and there are others, I'm not saying there aren't, but Tracy Beans, who is on both Twitter and on YouTube, and Scott Anthony, and I, along with some others on the sidelines, have really been working on this really hard. The tie-in between Q, what's going on with, you know, things like the Clinton Foundation and pedophilia and that business, and the Las Vegas shooting, it's all intertwined. So I've really got to take my hat off to Tracy Beans and to Scott Anthony. Scott wants me to not give him all of this credit, but I want to tell you, and I'm going to show you this in a minute. Scott is probably, well, I'm not going to say he's the world's best document examiner. He was when he did these things professionally back years ago. But the point is, you know, I'd like to say he was, and he probably is, but the point is that he's an expert investigator, especially when it comes to these types of documents that you have to go through, and doing the flow charts and all of that to figure out what's going where, putting the puzzle pieces together. Tracy is working on that as well now. Tracy Beans, she's been more of an overall presenter of the Q phenomenon, reading through and then giving some of her ideas. And she's had some theories about that, which she is going to come out with, okay? And I think all of this plays in. But right now I want to go back to my first story about the military having to get involved and how that would be done. Well, Scott Anthony, and I'll show you that in a minute, like I said, Scott Anthony has taken a fine-tooth comb through the Q documents at this point. And he's nowhere near done. You know, I suspect what he's doing is he's focusing on only a few things first, and going through the threads and then plotting that out to see where the keys are. Okay, he's been doing that. I've been doing it from, you know, another angle, and then of course Tracy's been doing it from another. But let me show you this here now, so you can go there. He has a YouTube account, but he's not going to be posting this stuff on YouTube for a while. They're actually, Google and others are giving him trouble right now. Okay, they're giving everybody trouble. I have trouble with even my Twitter account. But let me show you this so that you can find it. I blew the picture up this time so you don't have to worry about not being able to see it. Let's see if I can pull it over here. You see that right here? That's his Twitter account. It's Scott Anthony, but it's at Scott Anthony USA. Do you see that? Write that down so that you can go there and look this up. Now that's on Twitter. Okay, so y'all got that? Really important. I can't emphasize how important this is. On YouTube, it's just Scott Anthony. Okay, just Scott Anthony, like that right there. That's what it would be on YouTube. But on Twitter, it's at Scott Anthony USA. Okay, let me show you again what this is. On this right here, he's talking about Navy Marine commanders being able to act according to POTUS's orders, even without congressional approval. Okay, that's what this is about. Now, all of this is linked into the Q documents, and now I'm going to show you the next part. And all of this, figuring this out, goes to Scott. Wait till you see this, okay? Because we knew that this had to be going on, but Scott finally pulled it together. And this might even be the source of the many unsealed indictments that are out and are still coming. Look at this. I'm going to read this to you in case you can't see it. It says that this is a key. Okay, this is part of the Q threads. This isn't actually from Q that I can tell. I remember seeing this, but look what it says here. The key. Military intelligence versus the FBI, CIA, NSA, and basically the intel community as a whole. The caveat there will be the NSA, because I think Trump now has control of that with the help of Admiral Rogers. Navy and Marine Corps. This is where all this is coming from, okay? Let's read the rest of this, okay? I don't know if you can see it there, but it says, no approval or congressional oversight. State secrets upheld under the SC. I thought that was the Supreme Court. That's probably what that is. Then it asks, who is the commander-in-chief of the military? Under what article can the president impose MI take over? And that's all in Article 2, where the military intelligence can take over the functions of these investigative three-letter agencies like the FBI, okay? And then it talks about what conditions must be present, and they all exist right now, okay? Who surrounds POTUS? The Marine Corps generals, Kelly, Mattis, right? Dunford. All right, you get the point here? Let me put this down. McMaster's Army, and he's a problem. But let me get back in camera here. We'll see how he plays out in the long run. Do you see where this is going and why I had to put this up real quick tonight? Of course, I always say real quick. Things are happening. I think Scott's locked this in, and we're going to do some more distillation over the next few days. And when I get to the point where I think I can make a relatively decent presentation, we'll do that. That's not to say if something breaks like this just did, I won't come up and do a live stream. But that I want to try to put it together so that you can all see what's going on. Security Council, thank you. Thank you. It's been a long day, like I said. Okay, but the Supreme Court probably too. That's probably a law that they or that they have sanctioned. Not that they would need to. They're a separate part of the government, but the Security Council certainly. Okay. Do I do decent presentations, Karen? I don't know. I'll let you be the judge of that. I don't have a lot of tools. You know, I've got a camera. I've got, you know, a phone here for this. I've got, you know, a few backgrounds, and I try to explain things, but you know, I don't have all the really fancy stuff to put up, you know, excerpts from documents and things like that very easily. It would take a lot of preparation and editing to do that. Okay. Now, when you say the Security Council, let me point out something here. There's a difference between that and the NSC. So well, I'm just going to say it. The National Command Authority and the National Security Council, those are what we'd be dealing with. So anyway, like I said, that abbreviation I'm not really sure of. It could be either one. Okay, yeah, I'm on Periscope at Royston Potter, and somebody asked me to put that up today, just so you know. It's on Periscope when I do a Periscope, or it's on Twitter. If you have Twitter, you can watch it on Twitter, and it's at Royston Potter, just like my Twitter account at Royston Potter. It's virtually the same thing, but it's, of course, it's under Periscope. Okay, if you don't have Twitter, you can go to Periscope. Bliss, how you doing? You should have an email. If not, you should let me know, okay, if it got there or not. All right, I think that's all I'm going to do. I just wanted to throw that up there real quick. Twitter blocked you. Well, that doesn't surprise me. Look what they do to all of us. Let me see if there are any real quick questions here. Yeah, I should have gotten there. Send me another PM. I might have the wrong email. Okay, let's see what else is here. I guess that's it. All right. So I think that's good news. We're going to stay on top of this. I am absolutely positive that Scott has broken something here, made some sense of it all, where we thought it was kind of going anyway. But now I think in the Q threads, he's absolutely distilled that out. And now we're going to anxiously await for Tracy Beans and her information. And I won't steal her thunder. Hers is going to be just as important. Scott who? Scott Anthony. Let me show you again. And then we'll be done here, okay? This is his Twitter account. Let me get back to it here. Okay, right there. Right there where the at is. At Scott Anthony USA is his Twitter account. You can go to his Twitter thread and see all this research that he's doing. He's pulling things up out of his archives and putting them out on Twitter. And a lot of people are thinking, oh, this is old information. This isn't current. No, you don't understand. It's showing where this is going. It is current information, even if it came out months ago. It's having to do with events right now. So there's his Twitter account, at Scott Anthony USA. And on Twitter, it's just, I'm sorry, on YouTube, it's just Scott Anthony as you see it there. Okay? So that's who we're talking about. And of course, you should know Tracy Beans, I would think. All right? Okay. Hey, I don't want to belabor this any longer. It's been almost 20 minutes. Thanks, everybody. And we will, Phil McConnell's important. All of this is going to come together. And I think you're going to see some, hi Pam, I think you're going to see some pretty incredible things in the next few days. Of course, we keep saying that, but then, you know, a little bit more and a little bit more comes out. It's starting to make sense why the left, the communists, the real fascists, and I know you'd think there'd be a difference there, but it's all the same thing really. Why they're attacking Trump and all the conservatives so much right now. I'm not even going to say conservatives. I'm going to say the American constitutional republic supporters. They're trying to destroy the system and falsely accuse us in order to try to do that. Yes, Tracy Beans there, whoever just put that up, that's exactly, let's pull that down and see who that was. Yeah, Sue Anon, yeah, Tracy Beans, that's her right there. That's how they spell it. Okay? All right. Thanks, everybody. Like I say, I'll have a formal presentation up, in a few days. I have some things to worry about, like excessive noise, as you found out today. Okay? All right. Thanks a lot. We're out here. Have a good night.